Good morning folks, welcome back to our porch project. We are in the process of getting ready and geared up to start our concrete work. It's a basic concrete raft slab, slightly thicker on the edges, one layer of steel in the middle, very simple and straightforward, and we're going to mix it all on site. So stick around and we'll show you how we get on. Okay, so mixing up by hand, which is in some respects easier. I mean, of course I wouldn't get a delivery for this size slab, but at least that means I'm kind of go at a pace that's a bit easier, especially working on my own. Whereas when that truck arrived, oh dear me, that was hard work. Just using an all-in-one ballast, which is where you've got your gravel and your sand already mixed together. All right, let's get some water in there first. I've just done one test batch already, but you've got to remember the aggregate is always going to be different times of year, however it's being stored. So it's no good just saying X litres of water, because this is probably being sat out in the rain. It's pretty damp already. It does make a difference, especially with sand. I will throw on a dust mask for the cement bit, keep everyone happy. Of course, everything I'm saying is from a DIY perspective, so take it with a pinch of salt. But with concrete, if you add too much water, yes, you might think it's going to flow easier and easier to work, but the more water, the weaker the concrete. So it's worth just kind of going steady on it. I'm basically going for something similar to what we had delivered, which is easy enough to pull and rake around, but it's not flowing. You know, it's not, we're not looking for it to just kind of self-level. Really hard. Some people just do X number of shovels to a half a bag of cement, but if you do it by volume, it's pretty easy to know what you're doing. Right, unfortunately, when you're working alone, it's not like you can have someone mixing up behind you. Wouldn't that be nice? I'm just trying to get it right down in the bottom of the shuttering. I'm not going to vibrate it or anything like that, but we can give it a good tap as we go along. Now, I'm not going to go over it in too much detail because I already did in the first big concrete slab, but either a timber board to screed it out or a magnesium float to start with. You don't want to use a steel trowel until right at the end because of how that affects the properties of the concrete. So that's what I'm doing there, just flatten it out, and as soon as we're out beyond the threshold of that door, that temporary door which will be removed, then I can use a larger board across here. I've decided not to put a shuttering type board along the bottom of that wall. It would have been nice because I would have been able to ride something along all the way, but there's so much else in the way here that I'm not going to be able to do that really, and I think we should be okay because I can level it across something between the corners and get the majority of it on one long board. Not even sure that made sense to me. Right, I've just managed to get another mix on whilst I'm doing this. Sneaky, I know. Means that something's going on at all times rather than me waiting with an empty mixer. Right, let's rake that out. Really want to use spirit level as a screed barb. Got the whole team with me today. Bingy, bingy, bingy. We're meant to be going to sleep. Now I've lost so many buckets I've done. One or two more. I don't know, but I think one more mix might do it. Right, while we wait for that last batch to finish mixing, I'll give you a quick run through of how I'm doing it. Now, like all things, everyone's got their own way, but how I'm doing the mix is adding some water to the mixer first. Basically, you just don't want to ever be putting the cement, dry cement into a dry mixer, because that's what causes it to kick back more and it's all in your face and in your lungs and it's just no good. Anyway, so some water in the mixer to start with, then I'm just 2 buckets of ballast, then a single bucket of cement, and then the remaining 3 buckets of ballast, and then adding more water until it's the right consistency. Some people do bit by bit, cement, ballast, you know, and alternate, but if you've only got 1 bucket, it makes sense to just do it somewhere in the middle. If you've been following the channel for more than 3 or 4 years, this is the mixer I bought when I did the patio. It's a screw fix, or either own brand or unbranded one, and it's holding up. It's rusted just about everywhere, but it's alright. It's doing the job, and Dad's managed to do probably over 100 or 200 batches through it, so, and we've done quite a bit of work. Oh, and now it's really raining. It's not ideal. Right, what can we use? I know it's not waterproof, it's just cardboard, but it might just be enough to stop things gathering on there short term. Oh, come on, rain. Stop, please. You know you're going bonkers when you start asking the weather to change. Right, that was fairly short-lived, that rain, fortunately. I know I'm perfectly fine up to below the threshold here. What I want to do is just get this little bit inside. Alright, that's everything washed up. We're about 4 hours in, so it's taken a little while to get it all done, but hopefully I can leave it now. Blue skies on the way, I hope. I'm going to go up, do some work, do some editing, and I reckon hopefully a couple of hours I can come back down and give it an initial flatten off. We don't need it to be super smooth like the workshop one. Remember, I was I use that big bull float, and then I use the steel trowel to kind of trowel it off. It doesn't really need that. That's simply because the workshop finished floor is going to be concrete. In here, we've got a whole build-up of insulation and tiling to go on here still. I ended up trying to trowel this off at about 10 o'clock last night, and then it started raining again, so I need to see what the damage is. I hadn't really anticipated rain, as you might be able to tell. Moment of truth. Pretty good. I reckon we're probably okay to lift the forms out now. That gives us a shot at just tidying things up a bit. Plus, as you know, I'm very impatient. Well, we know it holds. So I think that's where I'm going to leave this video. Got the slab poured, and now it's just really a waiting game. Now, of course, if this was for an extension or something that needed a lot more engineering, then there would be calculations on thicknesses and steel and all sorts to go into. But for what we need, which is a relatively lightweight timber porch, this is a really good way to go, and nice and easy. I guess it was about half a day's work plus a bit of late night troweling. Next job is going to be to make a start on the oak beams, which I'm going to move into the workshop and set to work maybe even this afternoon. But that's it. Thanks for watching. Remember, if you can, do it yourself, and we'll see you next time.